during 9/11, I was literally in school, getting ready to go to, I think, my second period. And then on the intercom, announcement was made and the TV came on, and that's what we observed 9/11.
All right, so I was a junior in high school. We just got to homeroom, and the teachers were talking and stuff, and then they turned on the TV because we used to watch like Channel 1 in the morning, and one of the towers was on fire, and it was saying that a plane may have flown too low into it, and everything could have been a mistake. And then right when they was talking about that, the other plane flew into the other tower.
I watched it on the news, and I was going to work because I'm a cell res, and I work for FedEx. And I had my radio in my truck.
I got him on Craigslist.
And every time I'd run to do a stop, a delivery, I would run back to my truck just so I could get some more news to see what happened.
I was actually in New York, in Manhattan. I was working in a jewelry company with my dad, and I was wearing headphones. I remember I was listening to my music, and I remember my dad tapping my left shoulder and saying, "Hey, you know," well, he was still in Spanish. He's like, "Hey, the Twin Towers got hit." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead and look at the news." And for a minute, it was like unreal. Like I didn't want to believe it. Like how is it happening? So next thing you know, everyone stopped, and the supervisor came out and said, "You know, everyone's gonna go home."
I was in my hometown in Mexico, and I was actually playing soccer. And I was playing soccer, and I was in school, so it was like during our recess time. I was playing soccer, and everybody else just started running towards a little TV that we had in the cafeteria in school, and we just started pointing at the TV. And I'd never been to the United States, so I didn't know what was happening. I just knew that it was somewhere in New York. That's all I knew.
I was at my first duty station, actually first duty station as a corpsman. I just finished course school, went actually dental school, and then went to my first duty station in 21st Dental Company at Hawaii. And we found out, I woke up that morning, looked at the news, and that was my first green side assignment.
During 9/11, I was actually in college, walking through our cafeteria where everybody hangs out at, and everybody was gathered around the TVs looking, watching something on the news. I didn't know what it was. I walked over, and that's when I found out that the Twin Towers had been crashed into. One of them had actually already fallen, and a lot of people were crying because a lot of people were from New York. They had family in New York.
9/11, I was just riding my bicycle on the way to school. Stopped at my buddy Joey's house, and his mom was staring at the TV in like disbelief and just saying, "Oh my God, they're gonna hit the next tower." And then bam, I'd watch the plane coming on the news on the other tower.
So I was doing work in a customer's house that particular day. I owned a tile business. We were doing a fireplace, and I heard a bone-chilling scream come from the other room. Walked in the room, and technically it was a Jewish lady that actually had friends working in the tower at that moment. And we just missed the first tower being hit by the plane and literally saw the second plane hit the tower live on TV.
I was in the senior lounge of my high school talking with my friends, and we got the notification and they locked the school down and sent everybody home.
I was in 4th grade when 9/11 happened, and I remembered my grandmother was making me cereal, cream of wheat, and we were watching the news when it happened. At that time, I was in 4th grade, so I really didn't understand too much. I just saw my grandma was crying, so it definitely made me start to be a little more emotional. My grandma's from New York. She has family that actually live in the area, so her being upset automatically just made me upset.
When 9/11 happened, I was at NTC over in Chicago. Just got out of boot camp, going through my A school. Everything was locked down on base. I didn't know about anything till gate guards wouldn't let nobody out. Everything was on force protection condition Delta, and I was just at that point eager and ready to leave, get out of there and get to the command and go over there.
How'd you feel when you see that plane hit the first tower?
I was mad. I was ready to hop on the warship and let's go. go take them out, be done. Do the same thing they did to us, just worse.
I was ready to go fight. Honestly, I mean, that was my first response, is I was ready for the nation to tell us it's time to roll, time to knock down whoever just did it to us.
It was just a rush of, am I watching a movie? And is this real? That's my first reaction. Thinking about the families there and all those lives that perished. It was a sad day for us.
Commitment. Stand Navy out to sea, fight our battle cry. We'll never change our course, so vicious. Chill.
I can hear y'all more than I can hear myself.
Okay. Moving. 'Cause you're a